Everybody knows somebody with autism. Everybody has a child or grandchild or a niece or a nephew or a cousin. You know, it's widespread.
Well, it puts things in perspective. You know, you look at a child who, no matter what disease or disorder they may have, and you always ask yourself, you know, why? Why were they chosen for this path in life?
I didn't know what autism was. I had no idea. So I went to the library and I looked up autism and I looked up PDD, and I just sat there and I'm like, oh my God, that's my kid? That can't be my kid. It hurts. It hurts.
When I first started, it was about 1 in 14,000 children were diagnosed with autism spectrum disorders. And while I understand the diagnosis has changed and broadened a little bit, it certainly cannot make up the difference for what is now a number of 1 in 150.
Well, we kind of like to explain it as functioning denial, because you don't want to believe it, but you have to do something, you know. It's still hard for me to talk about it, I'm sorry.
Autism, it's one of those things that you see it every day. It's a misunderstood disease. These kids need us. It's all about the kids, and it's all about their future.
We are faced with what I consider in term a public health crisis. The long-term care of these children and adults is something that society is going to have to face over the next coming years.
One of the biggest problems was getting an appointment, because there's a waiting list. There's 6 months waiting list just to get them seen. And if you have to wait 6 months, that means you can't get services for 6 months. And that's a big waste of time for these kids. So we kind of, my husband called the head of children's every day to get an appointment, because we had to get in.
I did it.
I tried, bud. Good job.
We first came into leadership in this local union, we noticed that there was a steady incline of members' families being affected by autism, and we felt that it was our obligation to, like we do in the workplace, provide the best life for our members and their families, and that's how we got involved in the autism charity.
We're proud of the collaboration we have with the Teamsters. From the beginning a couple of years ago with just the introduction to them and their enthusiasm to be a part of Autism Speaks, raising funds and awareness by involving the membership, by being enthusiastic, by being wonderful spokespeople for Autism Speaks.
Autism is growing, and that we need to make sure that we're not only from a medical research point of view, better understanding, you know, the reasons and how we might be able to treat autism, but also how do we provide supports and education for families and schools and teachers and people who work in and around young people impacted by autism. So anything we can do, and Teamsters 25 has been a leader on so many different fronts, and this is just another example of it.
You become a Teamster, and automatically you have this whole role of people that will be there to help you no matter what.
It's all about having a good support network, and it's good to know that you've got a family behind you like Teamsters Local 25, that when one of us are down, we're going to go up, pick them up, and help them up.
It is a growing problem, and we need to make sure that we've got all hands on deck to try to help address it. There's so many doctors out there that could do so much, and if they don't have the dollars to do the research, and it really it doesn't get to reach out to the families and the kids that need it the most.
What are they going to do for work? Where are they going to live? How are we going to support them? And we don't have that path yet from birth through the lifespan of how we take care of individuals with autism spectrum disorders. And I think, honestly, that's money. When a family says to you, "You have changed our lives," that's why we do it. Every single day is because we've made their lives better and their child's life better.
23%, 71. Woo! Good job!
Those of us in the schools have become so educated about how to deal with students with this diagnosis and children with this diagnosis. 10 years ago, we didn't have these kids in public schools. They're here today, and I think it's because of chapters of Autism Speaks.
The people at Autism Speaks, they're so passionate and they go out and they fight every day and they try and make a difference and they're trying to change the world, and that's the most important part. We just need those kind of people in this world.
Soon enough, Autism Speaks will be telling us about success stories, about kids that become incredibly successful and put autism behind them.
Bill Chase, known him a long time, never knew that he or his family was affected by autism at all. And when we started to make it known publicly that, hey, this is going to be our charity of choice for Local 25, Bill was the first one to step up and say, look, I've been affected by this disease. Here's a story of my grandson.
He just was the best. He would check in with me every week and just tell me what he did that week, and I'd talk about his grandson Shane, who was the love of his life.
Despite his own fight at the end, he always worried about someone else. And he always worried about making sure that, his grandson, their family, and this fight that we chose would be carried on.
He was just a stand-up guy, just a great guy, and we miss him. The committee misses him, and I miss him.
He's truly a friend to be missed, and he did a lot for this drive.
He's just an awesome guy.
He put his heart and soul into it, and it's going to be tough without him this year, but we're dedicating the whole night to him, which he deserves very much.